another video on stories with Scylla. Now tell me, how are you today? How do you feel? Do you feel happy? Or sad? That's great, I feel happy too. Now, today we will meet another happy person. His name is Mr. Happy. Look at him, he's so happy. Let's see what Mr. Happy will do. Ready? On the other side of the world, where the sun shines hotter than here, and where the trees are 100 feet tall, there is a country called Happyland. Mr. Happy lives in Happyland. Where do you live? Do you live in Turkey? Or maybe you live in Serbia? Or maybe you live in Australia? Mr. Happy lives in Happyland, where the sun shines bright and the trees are tall. As you might very well expect, everybody who lives in Happyland is as happy as the day is long. Wherever you go, you see smiling faces all around. It's such a happy place that even the flowers seem to smile in Happyland. Look, even the flowers are smiling. And as well as all the people being happy, all the animals in Happyland are happy as well. If you've never seen a mouse smile, or a cat, or a dog, woof, or even a worm, go to Happyland. All the animals are happy too. What a wonderful place. This is a story about someone who lived in Happyland, who was called Mr. Happy. Mr. Happy was fat and round and happy. Look, Mr. Happy is round. Can you see anything else that's round? That's right, the sun. The sun is round too. He lived in a small house beside the lake at the foot of the mountain and close to a wood in Happyland. There he is. This is Mr. Happy's house. It's nice, isn't it? It's by the mountain and the lake. One day, while Mr. Happy was walking through the tall trees in the woods near his home, he came across something which was really rather extraordinary. What is it? What is it, Mr. Happy? There in the trunk of one of the very tall trees was a door. Not a very large door, but nevertheless a door. Certainly a door. A small, narrow, yellow door. Definitely a door. I wonder who lives here, thought Mr. Happy to himself, and he turned the handle of that small, narrow yellow door. The door wasn't locked, and it swung open quite easily. Just inside the small, narrow yellow door was a small, narrow, winding staircase leading downwards. Mr. Happy squeezed his rather large body through the rather thin doorway and began to walk down the stairs. The stairs went round and round and down and down and round and down and down and round. Whoa! Never-ending stairs. Eventually, after a long time, Mr. Happy reached the bottom of the staircase. He looked around and saw there, in front of him, another small, narrow door. But is this one yellow? This one's red. Do you think there's going to be more stairs behind that door? Oh, I hope not. Mr. Happy must be tired. Mr. Happy knocked at the door. "Who's there?" said a voice. A sad, squeaky sort of voice. "Who's there?" Mr. Happy pushed open the red door slowly. And there, sitting on a stool, was somebody who looked exactly like Mr. Happy, except that he didn't look happy at all. In fact, he looked downright miserable, very sad. Look, he is fat and round like Mr. Happy, but he's not happy. Look at the picture of the sun. Even his picture isn't happy. "Hello," said Mr. Happy. "I'm Mr. Happy." "Oh, are you indeed?" sniffed the person who looked like Mr. Happy but wasn't. "Well, my name is Mr. Miserable, and I'm the most miserable person in the world." "Why are you so miserable?" asked Mr. Happy. "Because I am." Oh, there they are, Mr. Happy and Mr. Miserable. Do you think they would be good friends? Let's see. "How would you like to be happy like me?" asked Mr. Happy. "I'd give anything to be happy," said Mr. Miserable. "But I'm so miserable and sad. I don't think I could ever be happy," he added miserably. Mr. Happy made up his mind quickly. Aha! Follow me," he said. "Where to?" asked Mr. Miserable. "Don't argue," said Mr. Happy, and he went out through the small, narrow, red door. Mr. Miserable hesitated and then followed. Up and up the winding staircase they went, up and round and round and up and round and round and up until they came into the woods. "Follow me," said Mr. Happy again, and they both set off through the wood back to Mr. Happy's house. Mr. Miserable stayed in Mr. Happy's house for quite some time, and during that time the most remarkable, amazing thing happened. Because he was living in Happy Land, Mr. Miserable, ever so slowly, stopped being miserable and started to be happy. His mouth stopped turning down at the corners. Remember, his mouth looked like this. But now the corners of his mouth are not looking down. Aha. He's in Happy Land now, remember. And ever so slowly, it started turning up at the corners. And eventually, Mr. Miserable did something that he had never done the whole of his life. He smiled. And then he chuckled, which turned into a giggle, which became a laugh. A big, booming, hearty, huge, giant, large, enormous laugh. And Mr. Happy was so surprised that he started to laugh as well. That's amazing. They laughed until their sides hurt. And their eyes watered. Have you ever laughed until your eyes watered? I'm sure you have. Mr. Miserable and Mr. Happy laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed. They went outside and still they laughed. And because they were laughing so much, everybody who saw them started laughing as well. Even the birds in the trees started to laugh at the thought of somebody called Mr. Miserable who couldn't stop laughing. That's funny, isn't it? His name is Mr. Miserable. He's sad, but he can't stop laughing. And that's really the end of the story, except to say that if you ever feel as miserable, as sad as Mr. Miserable, you know exactly what to do, don't you? What should you do if you feel sad? Just turn your mouth up. At the corners. Go on. Try. See if you can turn your mouth up at the corners. What a wonderful story about a wonderful person who lived in Happy Land. Now, I hope that you feel happy at home now. Are you staying at home? What makes you happy at home? Or when you go to school? What makes you happy at school? Animals make me happy. I like watching animals play. It makes me happy and it makes me laugh too. Think of a cat playing. That can be really funny. What about your family? Maybe your family makes you happy. There are so many things that can make you happy. Now, I would like to say thank you for watching the video. If you want to see more videos, you can subscribe to see more videos. Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to check out the activities in the description, okay? I will see you next week. Goodbye!